Oh, welcome to the show, Stefan. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Annie.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely welcome. And just to kick us off, I ask this question to all my guests, certainly in season 2. What would your younger self think of who and where you are right now?
Oof, that's a big question. I think if my younger self would see me right now, I think he would say like, it's a funny question. It's a question that I haven't had before, I would say.
Okay, that's good.
I'm pretty sure that he would see me doing all of these kind of things and being like wondering like, how did he get there? Wondering
That's
like,
interesting.
yeah, wondering like, how can I get there? I've done so many things across my life now that where I'm at right now, I would never have thought of that, of course, when I was younger. But if I would see myself, my younger self would see me right now, yeah, I would really like question like, how did he get there? Like, and how do you do that to be in a situation where you are right now, where you can be just yourself, first of all, and also where you can be so free and so yeah, the freedom, the feeling of not having anybody tell you what to do almost as well. But that's of course linked to my entrepreneurship. But yeah, how did you get there? I think that would be something that I would ask myself if I would see yeah, for my younger self would see myself.
That's a fantastic answer, Stefan. And I really love your question. How did you get there? And that's maybe, you know, some of the things that we can cover in this episode, because I'm sure now our listeners are wondering, well, how exactly did you get there?
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably takes us in quite nicely. So you are the CEO of a company called Titanology. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have the opportunity to go back and tell us all how that started.
Yes, I'll try to keep it short, but mainly like Titanology in a nutshell is a company that I started to create a community for LGBTQ plus business owners. Because myself, I came out at a later age at 36. I'm now almost 43. So I'm called like a baby gay. And I was always looking for a place that I belonged in our community. And I was looking at different areas. But the thing that really resonated with me was entrepreneurship. I mean, I love to talk about it. I love to build stuff. I love to build businesses, and I love to be connected with like-minded people that are also building their businesses. And it made so much sense that I couldn't find something like this. I couldn't find like a real community where you could not just get together, not just networking, but also just talking about, okay, what are you doing to build your business or to grow your business? Oh, you're doing marketing or you're doing sales. How do you do sales? How do you do marketing? How do you do that? Having those kind of conversations, I didn't find that, especially not in our community. And that's where I thought like, okay, well, if it doesn't exist, let's just make it ourselves, like just build it ourselves. And that's where it all started for me for Titanology. And it's all sparked also by COVID, as with, which is true for many people, I guess. Like COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people. The same was for me as well. And yeah, I stumbled into Titanology, but honestly, for me, it's the best choice that I've ever made. And I'm now at the situation where I can do this full time. It's a great business to be at. I can help many people in our community. And like I said, I don't have anybody that tells me what to do. I'm my own boss. I can work. It doesn't even feel like work anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. for years and years and years and years of doing freelancing and building my own businesses and so on. It's the first time that it feels like I'm not working anymore.
And
I'm
that
working.
sounds because you've got such a great passion for
Yes.
what you're doing. And that links into, I think, that freedom that you were talking about
Yes.
earlier, feeling free and doing exactly what you want to do, but not being told.
Yes. Yeah, being in a situation, in an environment where you can make your own decisions. You're not dependent on anybody to make the decisions for you, and you have the freedom to help who you really want to help. And the things that you do within your business is the things that you're passionate about. That's very important, 100% for sure. There are definitely parts in the business that I don't like to do, but it's less of a stress, less of a frustration to do them, because I know that there's a goal there's I'm working towards a situation that I want to get to, right? And that's 100% the truth with technology. And that's also, I think, why I said in the beginning, why I would ask myself, like, how did you get there? Because I think many people in our community or in general would ask, like, how do you do that? How do you get there, right? Because everybody, I think, or most people would love to be in that kind of situation. So I feel very privileged that I am in that situation. And by no means I'm there yet, right? I'm still going through the grind, let's say, because the company itself only exists for now almost 2 years. So there's still a lot of growth that needs to be had. But yeah, I would say right now, where I'm at right now, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that on your face.
Yeah.
The big smile, just, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be. So what do you think makes you different, Stefan, in terms of, so I'll give you an example. Like you, my business is young, and I can go on social media every day and there are thousands of people on there promising you the world, you know, for this exchange of, you know, $10,000, I can make you a millionaire tomorrow, or I can grow your business. What's different about you, do you think?
I think what makes us different, what makes technology different, what makes me different is the fact that I've gone through all of it myself. I think that's always where you need to start, right? If you're building a business, if you want to do something for somebody else, if you want to help somebody else to grow their business, or to help them out with marketing, with sales, with any kind of area that can help them out, having it done yourself is definitely the first step, I would say. And I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've been my own boss, let's say, since 2003. When I graduated, that's where it all started for me. I think I had maybe 1 year of employeeship, let's say, where I was actually the employee. It didn't last long because I don't like authority, but okay. And from that point, I started to build stuff. I started to build organizations and companies, and many cases it failed, right? But going through all these kind of failures and going through all of these kind of hardships and falling down and getting up again and all these kind of situations made me, I gathered so much experience and so much knowledge along the way. And because I'm also very passionate about the growth mindset, I keep learning every single day. I think that's definitely what makes me unique. That plus, like, what we do with technology is we over deliver, right? I think right now in this kind of world, where a lot of businesses try to compete with each other, honestly, there's no secrets anymore. Everybody has done already something. Like, if you want to invent the next Facebook, good luck. You will not be able to do so. So you have to do something more if you want to stand out. Yes, what you have gone through yourself as experience is very important, but what else can you do? And for me, it's over delivering. That's what sets me apart. I will do everything in my power to make sure that my customers are successful. And it is easier to do that if you're doing it with passion. So I think that kind of combination, you can find not a lot of people or businesses in that kind of situation. So I think that makes us unique. That makes us very strong in what we do.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds really, really interesting. But while you were talking, I'm really, really curious, and I'm not saying spill all your secret sauce, but are you able to give us some examples of those triumphs, but also those challenges that you faced throughout the years, starting to build a business, but then it just, as you said, failing, getting up, starting again? I
Yeah,
think that would be something where listeners would be really interested in hearing.
yeah. The biggest lesson that I learned across all these years, and that once I got that, I finally got it, like, oh my God, if I would have done that from the start, I would have been much further along. But that's why you fall and you stand up and you learn. And one of the biggest things that and I think this is true for a lot of people out there that are trying to build their own business. I come from a technical background. I was a developer from education, web developer. So I knew how to build websites. I knew how to code. I knew how to do all of these things and help people with their computers. And I was also a big basketball fan. So I was very passionate about basketball, created an organization there as well. But all of these things that I built a computer store, I built a web design firm, I built a freelance business, like all of these kind of parts. But in every single instance, there was something missing. And it wasn't until like recently, before I started technology, that it really dawned on me that what I was missing was knowledge in a specific area, which was marketing, actually. I knew how to do things. I knew how to make stuff, and I knew that I had value to give to people, but I didn't know how to actually talk about that, right? So that's marketing. And then the second thing is sales. I always thought that sales was icky and it was like sleazy, and it's like everybody tries to sell and tries to push you to buy something. But once I really got into what sales actually is, and sales is helping people make a good decision, that's what sales means, then my world really changed, because then I knew once I knew how to market myself in what I did, I knew how to talk about it. I knew how to, people started to understand what I did, right? And then once they understood what I did, I was able to also talk to them and to help them make a decision, which is sales, to actually get on board with what I did. And those two areas was something that I was always getting wrong before. So I think that is definitely one of the major things that made technology into the success that it is right now. And it's now something that I can also help other businesses with. But along the way, like with my technical background, I also know Agile. And for people that don't know Agile, it's a way that developers try to develop better products in a more agile way. So it's easier to correct mistakes and to improve quickly. So I incorporate all of that knowledge with the knowledge of building stuff, with the knowledge of creating communities like the basketball organization, and being a coach for 20 years in the basketball environment as well. So coaching, organization building, community, technical background, plus marketing and sales, put that all together. And I created a method, a formula, let's say, that I implement within businesses. That's our secret sauce. But like I said, like you understand now that it's all coming from what I have done myself, what I have been trying to do for many, 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 many years now. And now that I have found those two extra pieces that I'm getting better at, and also that I know how to do that, now it starts to click, and now I see the success.
They've just almost, it sounds like, completed the jigsaw puzzle, those two little
exactly.
pieces.
Exactly. And where a lot of people go wrong when they first start out with their business is that they don't have the patience to put that puzzle together, right? They think like because they know something, they know how to do something, that they will have a successful business, or that it should happen right now. but they fail to understand that there's so many moving parts within your business that it's very hard to do it right from the first time. So it's okay to not know everything, and it's okay to fail, but once it gets to quitting and going back to, for instance, a 9 to 5 or whatever, for me, that's really failure. For me, that's where it stops. And I don't like to see that, because everybody deserves a chance to build their own life that they dream of. And most of the time, that's by building their own business. So I want to give that kind of opportunity to a lot of people. If they have the perseverance, if they have the power to go through a lot of struggles and a lot of time to get there. It took me, like, I think since 2003, so let's say 20 years, it took me almost 2 decades to really figure it all out and now apply everything. And now it's becoming successful, like how I see success. I'm not saying you should wait 20 years to do all of that. The other mistake that I made, if I may, is I always try to do it myself. And I think it's because my character, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do. And I'm a very self-sustainable guy, let's say. I do it all by myself, but you cannot do it by yourself. And I was always trying to do it by myself. That doesn't work, right? You need people around you that know how to do some of these things, that can help you out, that can guide you. And that was also definitely a key to the success that I have now, surrounding myself with a team, with people that know how to do things better than I do sometimes. And that's also super important.
Yeah, I locked into what you were talking about in marketing, because I personally hear it all the time when people are starting their businesses. Absolutely. And I've said it myself. I hate the marketing side. I really, despise the fact that I need to post on social media every single day, because if I don't, algorithms won't pick it up. And sales, because like you, starting my own business, it was because I was passionate about what I was involved in, coaching and therapy. But then all of a sudden you find out there's this, or it felt to me like there was this screen with so much behind it, that learning journey was around that technology, learning how to put things together, like this podcast together, webinars together. And it just felt to me like the list was endless. And I'm getting the feeling that that was maybe how you felt as well in the beginning. You knew what you knew, but then there was this almost screen came down to say, but let's show you what else you need to do.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that we need to learn as business owners, and making the transition between being passionate about what you do and going, if you have been an employee for many years, making that transition into a business owner perspective is not easy. I started from employee, went into business ownership directly, then went back, actually a step back into freelancing, which is a glorified employee if you look at it.
How did that feel at that time, having put so much work into building a business, to, I guess, get to the point of acceptance? Well, at the moment, I need to go back.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Very painful, very, very painful. Yeah. I remember that I sat at my desk in my computer store, and I started to break down. Like, I couldn't go anymore because there were so many bills that I needed to pay. There were not enough sales coming in. I didn't know what to do. So luckily I had the background, the technical background, and the freelance world. Like, a lot of businesses, corporate businesses, look for people that have those skills. And as a freelancer, it's pretty common, at least in these areas, to get into something like that. So, but it took me, like, then I went into freelancing, and yes, it became, like I said, a glorified employee. I became a glorified employee because I had a boss again, and I could, how would you say that? I was still applying some of the principles that I have learned, and my skills and so on. but I didn't have any impact, you know. I didn't have any impact in the business that I was helping. And I didn't like that. From the beginning that I did freelancing, I never felt like this is something that I like to do. Yes, it made me a lot of money, 100%, because as a freelancer, you can make a lot of money if you know what you're doing. But just the fact that you're just a little piece of the puzzle of that business and you don't have an impact, I didn't like that at all. But because you start to develop a kind of a living standard and you get into that kind of routine. I did that for a decade. And it wasn't only until COVID hit that everything stopped and the first people that they lay off are freelancers. So then I was at square zero. I was like, again, nowhere anymore. I had nothing to show for it. I had no business. I had nothing. I thought by myself, what have I been doing for a decade? I was putting myself to sleep and thinking like this is the life, but it wasn't. And that's when I really realized like, if I want to be happy, if I want to be living a life that I want, I need to build something for myself and I need to make it work. So I'm not relying on anybody anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And that space between making that decision to actually owning and running a really successful business, you said earlier, takes time.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time, and you need to have the patience and the resilience to go through the hardships. I say to a lot of people that come to me, yeah, I want to build a business. I want to start a business. I say, sure, go for it, right? What's your passion? Oh, yeah, this and that. And then, okay, sure, good. So tell me, you're going to do this full time every day now for the rest of your life, first of all. And are you sure? Are you getting excited to do this for the rest of your life every single day for up to 12 hours a day? Your passion, as they say, and then they start to doubt. Right?
Because it doesn't fit into that 9 to 5, does it at all?
It doesn't fit in a 9 to 5, but also it doesn't, they are really not that excited as they would think like to do this for the rest of their lives. So, which means that if they're not 100% passionate about it, what they want to build, at the moment that it becomes hard, meaning they have maybe a month of no sales, they will quit. Yeah. They will quit. They will go back to the 9 to 5 to go back to the comfortable life. So you really have to think about this. If you want to build something for yourself, make sure that you're really excited to do it, because there will be months, maybe years sometimes, that you will struggle to get the next sale, to get the next team member and you might have to do a lot of the things yourself for many weeks, months, years. Are you ready to do that? Yeah. Are you getting excited to do that?
Yeah. And I think I can totally resonate with that, because when I started my business, I don't have the funds to go out there and get virtual assistants and, everything else. So it's a case of everything that I do myself. And I agree with you. I think, if I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, then I would possibly have given up months ago. Exactly. But and I hear successful people saying all the time, you cannot give up. You need to believe in yourself. You need to keep that going. And I think that's all very well. But at those moments when things are looking bleak, when there are no sales, when you are really struggling, then I guess that's why most businesses go out of business in maybe the first 6 months to a year. Yeah, 100%. 100%, because they're not passionate about it, or they don't have like a future vision that makes them excited. They might be passionate or not 100% passionate about what they're doing, but the future vision is strong enough to keep them going. Like
those are like those pieces that you really need to have if you want to get through these hard times. But I will say this, Annie, one thing that I talk about a lot as well, especially in our community, is that I truly believe that we in our community, being part of the LGBTQ plus community, we are more powerful than we think. We really need to lean into our queerness, as I say. We really need to lean into that, because yes, we have gone through all of these hardships to coming out and so on, but that makes us stronger, right?
Yeah,
I
agree.
truly believe that. And what does a good entrepreneur need at times is like that power and the resilience to go on, to go beyond what we think is possible.
And that courage, I'm guessing as well, needing that courage to really keep going.
Yeah. So I want to bring that message as well, because I see also people in our community not wanting to take that step towards building their own business, because they feel like, yeah, but we've already gone through those kind of hardships already. I don't want to do it again, right? It's not going to work. People don't see us as business owners. They see us as hairdressers, with all due respect, or colorful cookie business owners, with all due respect, good businesses. But we can do anything we want.
Absolutely. Here.
And we just need to lean into that power. And I really want to bring that message more and more and more, because it's so important, because that's what makes us different as well. If you talk about what makes you unique, just being part of the LGBTQ plus community already makes us unique. We do things in an authentic way. We are open-minded. We are doing things that other businesses cannot do because who we are. So that's also something that you need to take into account.
And it's interesting, the people that I work with in my work, whether it's in coaching and therapy, the big majority of work that I do is working on that belief system that someone has to bring them out to feeling truly confident to be able to walk their life and leave all that bullshit behind, you know?
Yeah. And I think for me as well, that's also something that held me back for many, many, many years now. Like I said, I came out when I was 36. So I started to build my own things when I was 23, 24. So it's more than a decade that I was in the closet, that I wasn't being my authentic self. And I really believe that by not being myself, I was not allowing myself to be successful as well with what I did.
Yeah, just and that's the big block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you, I mean, I'm just trying to understand the business. Do you have a network working group or something for people in the community that they can link into?
So what I do with technology, so we have our online community. So what I say to people when they come to us, like, look, you can indeed tap into our network, right? We're building a big network of business owners, but also partners and so on. If they join technology, our community, they don't have to go anywhere else to search for guidance, because not only do we have the information and the guidance, we are also building a network of, I call them Titan Masters. And they are,
I like that.
they are subject matter experts in what they do. So we have Titan Masters of marketing, paid advertising, finance, sales, like all these pieces that we need to build a business. We have Titan Masters for each of those pieces, and we bring them together into technology. So when you step into the world of technology and you're a business that at that time you need maybe some sales help, here you go. Here's the Titan Master of Sales. He can help you out and you can go on. And then maybe you are into something else that you need. Okay, here's another Titan Master. Here's another piece of information or guidance that you can use. So I really want to build an ecosystem that if you step into it, you get all the information you need, you get all the guidance, and you don't have to question anymore if these people are legit.
Yeah.
especially online, because there's so much noise out there. Annie, you know this as well. Like, who do you pick if you need marketing help? Who do you pick, right? Do you trust them? Do you know them? Do you like them? All of these kind of things. So that's what we want to solve by already pre-vetting our experts and the people that we work with. So if you step into technology, you don't even have to think anymore if these people are good, if these people will help you out, if they will produce the results, and if they will give you a feeling that you can be your true self, which is also very important.
Absolutely. The authentic self and being authentic is something that
Yes.
I'm very, very, very strong about. But this all sounds very expensive, Stefaan.
Well, it depends. It depends. Like there's a saying in sales that, well, are you worried about the cost or are you worried about the price? Because if you look at the investment you need to make, but what the return is that you get in the long term, like it's like if you buy a bicycle and it's cheap, but after 2-3 months you have to replace all the parts, like that costs a lot of money. Yes, the price was cheap, but the cost is high. But if you buy a decent bike of a decent brand and you can ride it for many, many years without having to do anything about it, the price is high, but the cost is actually low. So if you look at it at that, especially with business building, I cannot stress this enough. If you're starting out, if you're growing your business, every piece of knowledge that you gather is something that you have for the rest of your life. If you know how to do sales, if you know, like I said, if I would have known how to do sales and marketing from the beginning, I would have been so much further ahead. Now that I know, I have this for the rest of my life, but the cost for me of not knowing that for many, many years is super, super, super high. So is it expensive? It depends on which situation that you are and how you look at it. I would say it's not. For what you can use it for how you can build your business for it, I would say it's not. No.
So the main, from what I'm hearing, the main things that people would get out of joining technology would be that expert help in all areas that they would need to start a business.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And sorry to interrupt you, Annie, and also being connected with peers that are doing the same. Because entrepreneurship is lonely. You would always believe that there's nobody else doing the same thing that I'm doing. There are many people that are doing the same, but somehow they can't find each other, or they are reluctant to find, like to search each other out. So that's why also we want to foster that community as well, right? So you can talk to other people that are at the same level as you are, so you can find the support there as well, and just talk to each other, right?
And the difference being that they're genuine, authentic people, not just there to sell and take all your money and then buzz off. You know, I've had experience of that model, if you would like to call it that, with people out there. So that's really good to know. So if we were to finish this conversation right now, Stefaan, what would we have missed?
Oh, what would we have missed? That's a good question.
So if you maybe think about before you came on the show and the things that you wanted to talk about, has any of that been missed in this conversation?
Well, if we can cut out some of the pieces and if we can start from here, I would say what we have missed is why it took me so long to come out.
Okay.
I think because that's also an important piece of my story and of the whole puzzle, let's say.
Let's put that last piece into the puzzle then, and tell us a bit about coming out. As you say, you were 36. How did that tie in with what you're doing now?
Authenticity, right? As it's something that is so important to be authentic to yourself and to other people as well, because if you want to do business with somebody else, if you want to help somebody and you're not authentic to yourself, how could you be authentic to somebody else and tell them like, yeah, I'm going to help you, I can do this, but you're even lying to yourself who you are. So it doesn't make sense. And I think even if you don't say to anybody that you're still in the closet and that you're lying to yourself, I'm 100% sure that people see through that from a mile away.
Yeah.
And that,
how often do we hear when someone does come out, the amount of people that will say, well, I already knew that.
Yeah. My mother said
this isn't something new. We knew, or I knew.
Yeah. But we create stories in our head for so long that, oh my God, I cannot say that because of this and this and that. For me, it was, I already knew around the age of 26 that I could have feelings for other guys. And I came out at 36. So that's a decade of being really in the closet and just not doing anything about it.
And I'm wondering the base of that is fear of something.
I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was afraid that my parents wouldn't love me anymore. I was afraid that the community where I was in, the basketball community, wouldn't want to work with me anymore. I was afraid that I would be seen as a fraud. Like all of these fears, all of these stories I made up in my own mind held me back so long. And it wasn't until I really, it wasn't actually, and it's a funny story, the basketball club that I was working with, at a certain point, they said to me, you don't have to come anymore. We don't want you anymore. The agreement is over. The collaboration is over. And at that time, as with the COVID story, like I felt again, like at that time, I felt like I did all of this work with you guys for a decade. I went into the closet to make sure that I could keep going in the basketball world. And now I have nothing to show for it again. I said, come on, no way. No. Okay, fine. Then this is done. No more basketball. I'll step into my true self. And that's where I really went off and explored the whole community. So it's always that kind of moment in my life that I felt like I've put so much effort into something, and then at a certain point you feel like you don't get anything in return anymore. Then why still doing the effort of hiding yourself, of not doing what you want to do, if all the people around you that you have been working with don't appreciate what you have done and you have nothing to show for it? That's not a way to live.
Yeah.
So that's my realization when I came out, when I stepped into my authenticity. And then when COVID hit, was the same with the working situation. And 1 + 1 is 2. So that's how I got here.
Yeah. Amazing story,
Yeah.
Stefaan. Amazing story. So I think you've given lots of messages to our listeners in this episode, but if you've got anything else, I'm happy for you to throw that in now.
Well, I think if I can only say, like, lean into your power of your authentic self. Life is too short to hide yourself or to not do what you love to do. I lost a lot of time because of it. And I'm not that sad about it because it made me to who I am right now. But at the same time, I want people to understand that it doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to wait a decade or even 2 decades to step into something that you want to do for yourself, your authentic self. Don't do that.
Yeah, be who you are and go for what you want. I'm thinking that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, 100%.
Great. And if our listeners want to get in touch with you, Stefaan, how can they do that?
Well, Annie, it's very simple. They go to technology.world or just search for technology. We're pretty unique in name. So
Yeah.
you will find us definitely. You will find our website on social media. We're pretty much everywhere. And then you will find me as well. And if you want to talk to me, you can reach out to me 100%.
That's fantastic. And I'll put those details in the description below. But just to end today, I just really love to thank you for coming on the show. I've really enjoyed, and what an interesting conversation. And I'm sure our listeners will agree with that.
Thank you, Annie, for having me. It was great to talk to you.
You're welcome. And I'd also love to thank the listeners for tuning in, and check out next week's episode on Monday of Let's Talk All Things LGBTQ+. Thank you. There we go.
Good.
I was